Hi Sag, welcome back to our channel. I'm going to be doing a weekend reading for you guys tonight. It'll be a little quick reading. All right, so I'm going to show you guys what's coming out for your weekend. All right, let's talk about what's on the bottom of the deck first. Hold on. Introvert, okay? So you may not be doing a lot this weekend or you really want to stay in. You could have a comfort person as well that you want to stay close to. This person also may be having like a not as active weekend as well. So you could be spending time with someone who also is choosing to stay in. Um, yeah, so I feel like introvert is here. There's also something about being very private. If you do go out to places, you may not be as talkative. You may not really want to share what's going on in your life. You may feel like you don't have anything exciting to share at this time. Life could be very calm and kind of like dull right now, but for the most part I feel like you are going to have a good weekend, but it feels like you're just prioritizing yourself, your peace, staying inside. If you do choose to go out again, there's this energy of being very to yourself or very reserved, almost like high priestess energy. And yeah, bottom of the deck we have introvert. Okay. The other cards that are coming out for you, Sag, we have calm. So I do feel like, again, it's a very calm or peaceful weekend for you, which is good. Feels like you'll be in a meditative energy. You also could be in that Four of Swords energy of like reflecting, thinking about your next plans, thinking about what you need to do for the rest of the month of June, what you need to do next week. You may also not want to overexert your energy. You may feel like you are going to need a lot of energy for next week. I almost get this sense that you have a lot of stuff coming up next week. Okay, so for this weekend, you really need to have all of your energy. You need to recharge, rejuvenate. You may also need some downtime with that calm energy. You kind of just want to center yourself and ground yourself. You're going to be in this energy of temperance, okay? So also being very moderator energy. Like if you have been going out a lot, if you've been, socializing a lot, you kind of want to dial back this weekend, all right? I see you not overdoing it this weekend. Even if you end up going somewhere, I just see that you're not overdoing it and you have a very reserved energy. People may wonder what's going on with you, is also what I'm getting to. But for the most part, they're thinking positive things about you. They're thinking that maybe life is very calm for you or peaceful. You're being more simple than you usually are. You also may dress very simple this weekend. So you could be wearing like yoga pants or basketball shorts, or you're not really pulling out your best outfits in the closet, which makes me think that you're just kind of staying in. We also have family here. All right, so family is just what this card says. You could be spending a lot of time with your family or your chosen family. This also is a card of bonding. So you could be bonding with someone special, like a best friend or like a lover. You could be, bonding with someone. You could be staying home because family also is a card of being at home. So I don't see a lot of things kicking off for you this week. And even if you do get invited places, it's like you're kind of like fading in the background, but it's purposeful. You don't want to be the center of attention. You don't want to be the social butterfly. You don't want to be the main character. Okay, so it feels like intentional, and intentionally as well, you're trying to just be in a very meditative state. And your last card also confirms all of this energy. You have saving here. Saving is a card of self preservation. So you are rejuvenating yourself and you're trying to, it's like you're getting your energy levels back or you're balancing out your energy and you're wanting to maintain that. Some people charge themselves up and then they go exert that energy. And it feels like you're charging yourself up and you're maintaining that charge, okay? So saving is here. You also may not want to spend money. You could be saving for a big goal. You may also be moderating yourself if you spent a lot last weekend. Or maybe even in July, you remember yourself kind of just going out a lot and spending a lot of money. But it feels like you could be making money or you have your money, but you're being very intentional about what you buy and what you spend on. And you just don't feel the need to purchase a lot of things. So again, even if you do go out, there could be other people around you who are buying things, but you're kind of being very safe. You're keeping your money in a safe space, or you're just being very intentional about what you buy. You could be utilizing your research resources before dipping into your pockets type of energy. Okay, so very intentional about just calm energy and not doing too much and not popping off. All right. And also very intentional about who you spend your time with. If you have to get outside of the house, it could be because someone who's really close to you, a very intimate connection, could be asking you to come out. It's not on your terms. And maybe you're just respecting them by going out for them, but it's not really for you. Okay. So that's what I'm seeing. Let's see what else is going to happen for you this weekend for my Saggies. All right, Spirit, tell me what's happening for my Sagittariuses, masculines and feminines alike, Sagittarius and Sagittarius placements. What can they expect this weekend? Something about your money is very important to you this weekend, okay? That's what I'm kind of like thinking right now, like money. There's money is on your mind, all right? So that's one thing that I'm hearing. Let's see what else comes out for my Sagittarius. All right, we have the Nine of Wands here. What else? Two of Swords. Three of Pentacles. I want to keep it at 3 cards, but I just can't. I don't know why. I just feel like I can't do a mini reading for you. I have to give you a full extent of a reading. So give me one more card for my Saggies. What else can you tell me? King of Wands. Okay, nice. Nice. You know, you trying to preserve your energy, or you, whatever you're doing to rejuvenate, to meditate yourself, to get back into this energy charge. I'm like seeing Tesla energy. So you could be charging yourself up like a Tesla and you're getting that full charge. I feel like by the end of the weekend, moving into Monday of next week, you will be fully charged and ready to go. It feels like you're going to start next week with this King of Wands as your last card. Very motivated and high energy levels. So that's always really good. Also, you could be making a decision for next week to do some more active things. So if you have a job that's very sedentary, I think it's what it's called, when you're just sitting a lot, or if you have a goal of being more active or working out or running, walking, getting outside, but like moving your body, you actually will take part of that. And I feel like it starts very early. So that could be a goal of yours for Monday or Tuesday. But I feel like you're going to get into some type of active routine next week with the King of Wands. You also have a big goal to achieve next week that requires a lot of your energy and your attention. And you're very determined to accomplish that goal or even exceed that goal in some way. So King of Wands is your last card, and we'll come back to that as well. So again, you have the Nine of Wands here. You have the Two of Swords. And you also have the Three of Pentacles, okay? So interesting. There's a lot to say. Bottom of the deck, we have the Queen of Swords and the Queen of Wands. Okay, so definitely in your feminine energy, but also both of these feminines, like Queen of Swords, Queen of Wands, are very almost tipping the scale into masculine. So you are in your feminine this weekend, but you also are gearing up into your alpha in some way, because the Queen of Swords is kind of very alpha feminine. Queen of Wands is alpha feminine, all right? There's something about this weekend, there's a certain mannerism or energy that you're possessing of what your future self will be, because I always see the Queen of Wands as like an identity that you're stepping into to manifest things. So you're manifesting something. Obviously, with this King of Wands, you're wanting to accomplish some type of big goal here, and it requires you to change who you are and your routine. You're getting into that this weekend, okay? Maybe you haven't had a very calm weekend for a long time, and this weekend is kind of like you organizing yourself in a certain way, or there's a method to your madness with the Queen of Swords of the identity that you want to maintain with that Queen of Wands, okay? So if you're having a calm weekend and you're staying inside, or you're being very reserved, there's a strategy to that. You may feel like you need to become this person to get something. And I see that being something that you're able to maintain over time. This could be like your trial period or the first time that you're actually kind of more reserved than normal. All right. What I'm seeing too is there's a big energy of exhaustion. So you could be heavily exhausted, okay? Like tonight, Friday, you need to be sleeping. You need to go to sleep on time. Now, you may have a hard time doing so, especially with the Two of Swords is indecision. So even if you do shower and you eat your dinner and then you settle down, you watch your favorite show and it's time to go to bed, your mind is still having a hard time adapting to this routine that you're trying to conform to. It's almost like, you want to go to sleep, you know that you need rest, but you may stay up with that Two of Swords. Knight of Wands shows that even this week could have been very draining, or it could have asked a lot from you, and you're just feeling very exhausted with that Nine of Wands. Tell me about the Nine of Wands let me use this deck to clarify. Tell me about the Nine of Wands for Sagittarius. This is like your Friday night, okay? So very exhausted. You're very exhausted. You're tired. You need rest. You need sleep. You feel, I don't know. Also, sometimes the Nine of Wands can feel like your breaking point as well. So you may feel like you're at your breaking point of something. You need rest. You need to tend to yourself, but I see you having a hard time doing so. Seven of Cups. I did a personal reading recently and this card came out for someone. I can't remember if they were Sagittarius or not, but what I felt with this card is someone being so tired that they're in a daze, like you're so tired that you're kind of like, you're not rooted in reality, or you're like almost a little high off your tiredness. This is like when I don't know, how can I explain this? This is like when you you put the TV remote in the refrigerator because you're so tired. And you're like, damn, the next day you're like, where's my remote? And it's not until you go to get your eggs out the fridge in the morning that you see the remote has been chilling in the refrigerator. So there's almost like a daze that you have. You're not all the way here because you're so exhausted and you need sleep. You need some deep, restful sleep. This lets me know also that when it comes to your dream state or when you rest your eyes, you could be in a different world. You could be doing, what is that called? What is that called? I forget what it's called. It's in a lot of movies, a lot of horror movies, by the way. But it's energy of like sleepwalking while you're asleep, going into a different dimension. So there's something about you not having restful sleep. Like even after you sleep or you nap, you still feel very tired because your subconscious or in your dream state, you could be doing a lot. Okay. So you're very exhausted here. And then with that Seven of Cups, I feel like you're in a daze. Now, some of you guys, because it's the weekend energy, you could be doing something that puts you in a daze. Those of you who are smokers, maybe smoking your little spliff or your blunt. Some of you guys who are drinkers, maybe drinking your scotch, your whiskey, whatever. It doesn't help this exhaustion. So there's something here that feels like you're just exhausted beyond measure, but you're trying to stay awake. There's this energy too of us humans at this time where there's a lot of people who feel like after they have to do all their responsibilities, like taking care of their children, going to work, having to show up for other people, when they come home, they feel like that's the only time they have to be themselves or me time, but it's still not enough time. So that also could be what's going on with you. Like you just feel like you don't have enough time in a day to be your authentic self or to create or to enjoy, leisure time. So there's like a daze that you could be in. So, watch what you're doing. Definitely watch what you're doing. Also, too, I would say Friday, stay in the house as well. If someone's asking you to come out on Friday, probably not a good thing because I'm almost getting like that warning sign on certain medications where it says, do not operate vehicle when you're using, So there's almost something of like, you really need rest. You need to stay home, okay? And that's what I'm getting. Let's see what else is here. All right, we have Hierophant as well. So you are starting some type of structured routine this weekend. And it's going to stick with you the rest of June and hopefully the rest of the year. Something that you've been needing desperately. This used to come out a lot for you guys, Sag, but it kind of stopped, maybe because you came out of it for a little bit. But you definitely need structure, and that may be really hard for Sagittarius that is freedom loving. but you're needing some type of structure, especially when it comes to your sleep schedule. All right, so maybe it's time to set those alarms on your phone when it's time to wind down and when it's time to actually turn everything off and go to bed. But especially also with your routine, you need more structure because you're kind of like running on empty. All right, that's what I'm seeing. All right, we also have the Two of Swords. You are like struggling with some type of choice and or some type of indecision, and especially with that Seven of Cups, you may not even be aware of what this is. You know, you may not, if I was to say, oh, you're not making a decision on something, you may look at me and say, well, Dream, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. Okay, because that Seven of Cups kind of puts you in some type of fantasy land. You're not rooted in reality. So there's some type of choice that you need to make this weekend. I don't know. Let's see. Saying about the Two of Swords for Sag. All right, it has something to do with how you feel unfulfilled with your life, okay? So obviously some type of life-changing decision. The last reading that we did on this channel today, I did the reading yesterday, I put it out today, is about taking a leap of faith of some sort or changing your direction of some sort, or maybe even planning to leave some type of situation that's not going to change. So that could be weighing heavily on your mind this weekend. You're like thinking about it a lot. You're tired of being unfulfilled in some situation or area of your life. What's happening with that? Okay, you have a lot of curiosity about what it's like to be on the other side. You should just go for it. I don't know what this is, but it feels like you are able to step into this desire or fulfillment in some type of way, okay? So I don't know what this is. It has something to do with like a quick change or something that you may have felt like was not, especially with the Hierophant. With the Hierophant being here, you may have felt like people would judge you for it. Like it's not conforming to tradition. It's a little bit unconventional. You should go for it. This weekend, you're going to be more curious than ever about whatever that is. And it's kind of telling you like, hey, maybe this is your next chapter or this is something that you should do. Okay. So there's a lot of curiosity here. I know the last reading we did, there was a lot about love. And some of you guys could be in relationships that are like dead end relationships. Some of you guys could be single and maybe have not put yourself out there. Maybe you're interested in a new type of person. There's a lot of curiosity about this weekend. Or if that's not your area, if romance is not really on your mind and you're happy in your relationship, or even if you're single and romance is not in your mind, there's something that you're super curious about, something that you may admire from afar with the Page of Wands. And it's telling you to make a decision. If you want it, go for it, okay? And you have the King of Wands here. And you have the King of Wands here as well. So this is all about chasing after what you want and going for it. All right. So you haven't made a decision about this. I don't know. I don't know what this is about. This could be about like a certain lifestyle. This could be about your physique, your aesthetics. You want to go to the med spa, go to the med spa, go get that treatment done, whatever it is. Maybe you want to change up your style, your persona, do it. Okay. Maybe you want to change up your industry for your career. You want to start a new passion, a new hobby, a new interest, do it. Okay. So like the universe is saying you've been struggling with this for a while, but you keep feeling like something's missing. This is the missing thing. Go for it. And I feel like this weekend more than ever, you'll be very curious and you'll be feeling deeply inspired by this. There's something that motivates you around this category, whatever it may mean for you specifically. All right. Also, this weekend calls for some type of collaboration. And you also could be working this weekend. Some of you guys could be doing some work that maybe you weren't able to get done throughout the week, because I see that you've been highly exhausted. So maybe you push some lower priority tasks to the background and you may have to get that together before the start of Monday. Or this could even be you just putting together a to-do list, putting together your task, prioritizing what you have to do and organizing that for next week. Three of Pentacles lets me know that there's some type of momentum that's going to be happening in your life. And it does involve other people, as we talked about in your last reading. So tell me about the Three of Pentacles here for Sagittarius. All right, we have the Page of Cups. Interesting. There could be someone in a group dynamic that could be someone who admires you, but also has a very like they could be very sensitive person, but they also could be a little bit emotionally premature where they have a hard time translating their emotions. So there's someone here who admires you, because Page of Cups usually can be like secret admirer. Like, I admire Sag, but I would never tell Sag. And it also feels like this person may want to apologize about something as well. It feels like you guys have some type of group dynamic. Now, because family is here, this could be someone in your family. This could be a friend. This could be a lover. This could be someone that you work with. But this is someone who deeply admires you. And this weekend, you guys will be in some type of collaboration, working together, being around each other, having to do some type of joint task together. Okay. Feels like this person's very helpful, or you're very helpful to them. Tell me more about this person, the situation. All right, we have the Judgment here. So again, there's something about forgiveness. You know, there may be a conversation that someone wants your forgiveness, or they want to apologize. Feels like this person admires you, so they want to rectify any tension that you guys may have, okay? Also with the Judgment too, there could be some reality check or wake up call in some type of group situation, or even with your work. It's calling you to be more creative with your work. Maybe that can help you be more visible, or get more recognition, or more reward, or more money. Or this could be like a group situation that's about to emerge, and your role that you play in that group is creativity. Think about like a creative director, okay? What would a creative director facilitate in a situation, in a project? If you need more information about that, research it. Look up, what does it mean to be a creative director? What do they add to a group? What's the benefit? What are they required to, come up with or input into some type of collaboration? Think about how that role relates to who you're becoming these days, and what that means for some type of group effort that you could be working towards, or even how it relates to whatever you do for work. That's something that you're stepping into, that's going to be some type of wake up call for you. I feel like the universe or your angels are calling you to do this, to be the facilitator of some type of creativity. It requires a lot of creative expression, speaking up, being more visible. It also requires social connection, because a creative director is over a project that deals with people. So there's something about that. If you can do your research about what that means, if you're a little confused about that, I feel like something is going to click for you, okay? And it also may motivate you for next week. You may know exactly what you need to get your hands into. You may also be able to pinpoint what you're chasing after. It kind of makes sense to why you've been feeling deeply unfulfilled, or even some type of decision that you need to make with the Two of Swords. Tell me about the King of Wands. For Sag, tell me about the King of Wands. All right, we have the Five of Cups. What's going to be driving you, especially for next week, or even the rest of this month of June? Some type of loss that you took, okay? We have the Five of Cups, which is the card of loss. Something that you have been very emotionally sad about, or you've been feeling emotionally defeated. Something that made you want to give up when it happened, when it transpired, when you had this defeat. It's going to be your driving force for the rest of June, or what you're chasing next. And it requires you to be very brave. We have the Knight of Swords, the card of courage. If you've been feeling very stagnant or stuck, one thing about the Knight of Swords is it's the knight that acts at the last minute. Okay, a lot of people think that the Knight of Pentacles may be the one that acts at the last minute because it's so slow moving. But the Knight of Pentacles has been working from day one. Their progress is a little bit slower, right? Knight of Swords is like, I'm going to act right before I miss an opportunity, and I'm going to be so precise. I'm going to shoot my target. I cannot miss. But maybe I had a hard time with the Swords energy coming to some type of conclusion. You get that conclusion or that breakthrough this weekend. Okay, so keep your eyes peeled, your ears open, listen to your thoughts, listen to your breakthroughs. Synchronicities could be really big for you at this time. Something's going to click for you that also allows you to take very quick action to change the trajectory of your month of June into a very positive month. You have to listen to your instincts. You also need to listen to how you're able to break something down. And again, something talks about creative direction. Okay, so I feel like that's the energy that you're moving towards. Doesn't matter what career you're in, what stage of life you're in, what your hobbies are, your interests are, what your personality traits are. There's something in your life, Sag, even though this is a general message, that makes sense of you being some type of creative director or creative facilitator. And you need to figure out how you fit into that persona to know what your next steps are going to be. Once it clicks for you, you're going to be like this big go-getter, self-activator. You're going to be chasing something and making life your bitch, okay? So I feel like that's going to click for you this weekend. And you know what's so interesting about that? It comes to you more easily when you are alone, all right? Or when you have downtime, when life is calm. Even on the bottom of this deck, we have the Hermit. So it comes to you in a time of solitude or quietness, or when you're not being distracted by so much chaos or mayhem or happenings. That's when you're going to get it. So there's something very, very special about this weekend that you need to make sure that your ears are open, your eyes are peeled, whatever that may mean. And also another big thing is getting your rest. You know, if you're the type of person who scrolls all night or you have insomnia, do whatever you need to do to make sure that you're sleeping. You're going to need your energy, especially for next week, the rest of this month. So definitely make sure you're taking care of your energy levels here. All right. All right, guys, I'm going to leave it there. That's your weekend reading. I wanted to do a reading here because what I'm about to do next, I'm about to go on live and I'm going to answer your questions. So if you have any burning questions, if you want to know more about what you need to do, what you can facilitate to make change in your life to be happier, if you have questions about love, if you have questions about work, your finances, definitely make sure you subscribe so that you can get the notification. But tonight, I'm going to be going live and answering your questions about that. So if you're interested in that, then definitely make sure you stay tuned because I'll be going live shortly after I upload this video. All right, I want to thank you guys for tuning in always. Make sure to like the video, comment down below whenever you see this. Subscribe if you're new here because you don't want to miss the next reading I'm going to be pushing out for you. I love you guys so much. I believe in you, Sag, and I'll see you in the next one. All right, bye.